The film Troll 2022 opens not with sudden terror, but with a serene flashback, establishing the foundational relationship between a young girl, Nora Eid, and her father, Tobias Eid. A renowned but often ridiculed paleobiologist and folklorist, Tobias is shown on a vast, misty mountain range in Norway, weaving tales of massive, ancient beings that sleep beneath the earth, the legendary trolls. He passionately teaches Nora that the stories are not just fairy tales, but a repository of ancient knowledge, cautioning her that trolls fear the sun and the sound of Christian bells. Nora, though captivated by her father's stories, grows up to become a grounded, skeptical scientist, prioritizing verifiable data over myth, a division that defines their strained adult relationship. The main narrative jumps to the present day, where a massive infrastructure project is underway in the Dovre mountain range of Norway. Tunneling deep into the bedrock, construction workers encounter an unexpected resistance, leading to a massive, violent explosion. The aftermath is catastrophic. A giant hole is torn into the mountain, leaving behind a deep crater and strange, colossal footprints. News reports quickly spread fear and confusion, as witnesses claim to have seen something impossibly large emerging from the earth. The incident cannot be explained by any conventional seismic or geological event. In the midst of this chaos, a gigantic, monstrous being, a troll of unimaginable size, its body made of moss, rock, and ancient wood, rises, awakened by the shockwave of the blast after 1,000 years of dormancy. Terrified and enraged, the troll immediately begins a destructive rampage, crushing machinery and killing several of the workers before lumbering off, leaving a massive path of destruction across the Norwegian countryside. The Norwegian Prime Minister, desperate to contain the disaster and maintain public order, convenes a secret crisis task force, recognizing the complete inadequacy of scientific and military explanations. They reluctantly turn to the unconventional. Dr. Nora Eid, now a respected paleobiologist working in a field far removed from myths, is summoned by the government to analyze the bizarre footprints and damage. Nora soon realizes that the only person who might truly understand the creature's nature is her estranged father, Tobias. She drives to his remote, rustic cabin, finding him living a hermit's life, his mind still consumed by folklore. Tobias, upon seeing Nora and hearing the details of the colossal footprints, is immediately ecstatic and simultaneously terrified. His life's belief has been vindicated, but a monumental threat now faces the nation. He confirms the creature is a troll, a being of immense size from ancient Norse legends. As the troll continues its destructive march across the landscape, crushing cars and flattening forests, Nora, Tobias, Andreas, and Captain Svik join forces, traveling along the creature's path. Tobias imparts his deep, vital knowledge, the troll's weakness to sunlight which turns them to stone, and its aversion to Christian symbols and church bells. The team attempts to follow Tobias's initial, simple advice to keep the creature away from open sun, but the military, distrusting superstition, insists on a traditional military response. Ignoring Nora and Tobias's pleas, Captain Svik orders an aerial bombardment. They drop powerful, bunker-busting bombs on the creature. The conventional weapons only succeed in agitating and enraging the troll further, causing it to accelerate its movements. It becomes clear to Nora that the troll is not simply rampaging aimlessly. It is following a defined path, moving with a singular, determined goal toward the most populated area of the country, Oslo. The task force relocates to a secure government bunker as the threat level reaches its maximum. Tobias, working feverishly with ancient maps and folklore, connects the troll's trajectory to the history of the old Norwegian monarchy. He theorizes that the troll is not seeking destruction, but rather its original home, a long-forgotten cave system or an ancient memorial that now lies directly beneath the heavily populated modern city of Oslo. He posits that the troll is likely looking for its family or its king, who, according to legend, was buried there. Through an intense sequence of historical investigation aided by Sigrid High, an enthusiastic specialist, the team uncovers a dark, hidden truth about Norway's history. Trolls were not simply vanquished by nature. They were victims of a deliberate, Violent genocide orchestrated by early Christian kings and human forces to claim the land. The troll that has awakened is a desperate survivor, seeking vengeance and the remains of its own kind, buried beneath what is now the royal palace in central Oslo. The situation becomes dire as the colossal creature closes in on the capital. The prime minister, facing total societal collapse and irreversible damage, reluctantly approves a plan based on the mythological weakness, the need for intense, concentrated solar light to turn the creature to stone. With the sky consistently overcast, natural sunlight is not an option. The military quickly develops a plan to deploy a massive array of powerful UV and searchlights, constructing an elaborate system to generate artificial sunlight strong enough to petrify the massive creature. The plan is to lure the troll to a specific, controlled location, a deep, prepared crater near the royal palace, and trap it there until the artificial sun can be activated. Tobias, knowing the creature is motivated by pain and loss rather than inherent malice, attempts a desperate, direct approach. He leaves the task force and goes alone to the troll's location, trying to use the troll's own ancient language and song to communicate with it, appealing to its sorrow. The plan is to lure the troll to a specific, controlled location, a deep, prepared crater near the royal palace, and trap it there until the artificial sun can be activated. Tobias, knowing the creature is motivated by pain and loss rather than inherent malice, attempts a desperate, direct approach. He leaves the task force and goes alone to the troll's location, trying to use the troll's own ancient language and song to communicate with it, appealing to its sorrow. Tragically, in this final, desperate act of communication, the massive, frightened troll accidentally crushes Tobias, killing him instantly. Nora arrives moments later, witnessing the death of her father, a moment that solidifies her commitment to both the scientific method and her father's long-held beliefs. Using her scientific acumen combined with her father's knowledge of the troll's sorrowful, non-random nature, Nora manages to execute the final phase of the plan. With the assistance of Captain Skvik and the military, she succeeds in luring the distressed troll into the designated kill zone near the royal palace. Guided by the sound of church bells and the promise of its lost home, the lights generating the artificial sunlight are activated, bathing the towering creature in searing, synthetic solar radiation. The effect is instantaneous and irreversible. The massive troll slows, lets out a final, agonizing roar of despair and pain, and gradually begins to solidify. Its form transforms into an immense, ancient statue of rock. Before it finally topples over, defeated, the city is saved from physical annihilation, but the human cost, particularly for Nora, is immense. Nora, now reconciling her scientific background with the truth of the myths, carries the torch of her father's legacy. The final scenes show the city beginning the long process of recovery and the government trying to manage the unimaginable geopolitical and social consequences of the discovery. Yet, the film ends not on a note of finality, but with a lingering dread. Deep within the recesses of the Dovre mountain range, where the first troll was awakened, the ground is shown to be trembling once again, and a faint, subtle movement of stone is visible, suggesting that the sleep of the ancient trolls has been definitively disturbed, and the threat to Norway is far from over.